The war on wild boars, protecting our farms and ecosystems. Hey everyone! Today, we're tackling a massive problem, literally. Millions of invasive wild boars are wreaking havoc across America, and we're on a mission to stop them. If you're ready to join the fight and see how we're protecting farms, ecosystems, and communities, drop a number in the comments to show your commitment to watching till the end. Let's dive in. Now, when we talk about wild boars, we're not just talking about your average backyard pest. These beasts are big, powerful, and relentless. Measuring between 4 to 7 feet long and standing up to 3 feet at the shoulder, they can weigh over 600 pounds in prime conditions. Their sheer size, strength, and aggressive nature make them a force to be reckoned with. And that's not all. Their thick fur coats, ranging from brown to black, often a mix of shades, give them built-in armor against the elements and predators. But what really makes them a problem? Their unstoppable appetite. Wild boars eat everything: seeds, fruits, crops, grasses, even small animals. Their adaptability and rapid reproduction rates have turned them into one of the most destructive invasive species in the country. Stick around as we uncover the shocking impact of wild boars and the innovative ways we're fighting back. You won't believe what's coming next. Wild boars are destroying farms. Here's how we fight back. Wild boars aren't just a nuisance, they're a full-blown crisis. As seasons change, these relentless invaders ramp up their destruction, leaving farmers scrambling to protect their land. To combat this, hunters and farmers have joined forces, tracking and eliminating boars to minimize devastation. But wiping them out completely? That's a whole different challenge. These animals are smart, fast, and nearly impossible to pin down. Hunters often go after the biggest boars, not just for sport, but because their meat is delicious, tender, and a vital food source. In times of rising food costs, this has become a cost-effective way to feed families. But the real problem? Wild boars don't just compete for food, they destroy it. With food scarcity on the rise, their insatiable appetite for crops is pushing farmers to the brink, making population control more urgent than ever. Every day, massive herds trample through farmlands, leaving millions in damages. The bigger their numbers, the bigger the threat. If we don't act now, our food supply and ecosystems could face irreversible consequences. The battle against wild boars is on. Will we win? Wild boars are spreading fast, a threat we can't ignore. The wild boar crisis isn't just about lost crops, it's a direct threat to our health, economy, and environment. As their numbers explode, so does the risk of disease transmission to humans and livestock, putting entire communities at risk. Their relentless invasion is not just disrupting food supplies but destabilizing agricultural ecosystems, making life even harder for struggling farmers and rural economies. These highly adaptable creatures thrive everywhere, from dense forests to open fields, where they tear through landscapes, uproot vegetation, and devastate biodiversity. While they might look harmless at a glance, their impact is anything but. Their unchecked destruction is wiping out food sources for native wildlife and creating chaotic competition within natural ecosystems. If left uncontrolled, their population boom could spiral into an environmental catastrophe. That's why wild boar management is no longer optional, it's a necessity. While hunting has long been a tradition, it's also one of our most effective tools in preventing further devastation. It serves a dual purpose, providing a valuable food source while reducing the strain on farmland, livestock, and human communities. As this invasion spreads, local authorities, conservationists, and farmers must work together to implement smarter control strategies. The future of our food security, ecosystems, and rural economies depends on it. The fight against wild boars is on, Will we rise to the challenge? Texas fights back, the smart war against wild boars. In Texas, the battle against the wild boar invasion is heating up, but instead of relying on outdated or dangerous methods, communities are innovating smarter solutions. Researchers and local experts have developed highly effective, yet simple trapping techniques, proving that creativity can be just as powerful as force. One of the most successful methods? Thin nets secured with 5 to 8 stakes, a setup that blends seamlessly into the environment while safely and efficiently capturing these destructive invaders. Unlike harsh, rigid traps, these designs preserve the landscape and reduce risks to both humans and animals. But here's the real challenge: wild boars love wheat and corn. This dietary preference wreaks havoc on farmers, escalating food shortages and putting pressure on Texas' agricultural economy. Their unchecked presence intensifies competition for resources, threatening the delicate balance between wildlife, farming, and human settlements. And it's not just about economics. These boars are invading human spaces, posing direct threats to safety and well-being. Even worse, they serve as walking disease carriers, spreading infections to livestock, poultry, and even pets, a ticking time bomb for public health. Texas is fighting back, but the challenge is far from over. Implementing smarter, large-scale control measures is crucial to protecting both the environment and the economy. The war against wild boars is on, but will we stay ahead of the invasion? Wild boars are costing us billions. Here's how we fight back. Controlling and managing wild boars isn't just an economic necessity, it's a public safety crisis. These destructive invaders are not only devastating farmland but also threatening human and animal health. Winning this battle demands strong collaboration between communities and local authorities, ensuring a sustainable, long-term solution before the damage becomes irreversible. The numbers don't lie. Wild boar invasions cost the U.S. a staggering $2.5 billion every year, a financial catastrophe that's crippling the agricultural industry. These animals don't just wipe out crops like corn and wheat, they also wreak havoc on livestock operations and veterinary systems, creating dangerous ripple effects across the entire food supply chain. This isn't just a problem for farmers, it's a direct threat to regional economies, food security, and public health. The longer these boars roam unchecked, the harder it will be to recover from the damage they inflict. But there's hope. By implementing smarter, more aggressive control measures, we can turn the tide against this invasion. The question is, will we act in time, or will wild boars continue to dominate the land? The smart trap: how we're stopping the wild boar invasion. The wild boar crisis demands more than just awareness, it requires bold, effective action. To protect farms and communities, the agricultural sector is turning to cutting-edge trapping technology, proving that innovation is our best weapon against these destructive invaders. One game-changing method? Steel cage traps, an ingenious, automated system designed to capture wild boars efficiently and humanely. As soon as boars enter the designated trap area, a triggered net deployment system instantly secures them, preventing further damage to farmlands and reducing their numbers in a controlled, strategic manner. But technology alone isn't enough. Proper implementation is critical for this method to work. Trapping requires trained professionals who understand the mechanics, ensuring that cages are regularly inspected and maintained to remain effective and safe for both humans and animals. Without proper oversight, malfunctioning traps could lead to wasted efforts and unnecessary risks. Wild boars aren't slowing down, but with smart strategies and professional execution, we can turn the tide. The key to success? Precision, teamwork, and persistence. The battle against wild boars is far from over, but now, we have the tools to fight back. Giant buffalo invasion. a growing threat to farmers and the environment. Across vast rivers and sprawling lands, millions of giant buffalo are rapidly emerging as a growing challenge for farmers and the global agricultural community. While they present potential opportunities for food and resource utilization, their increasing presence is wreaking havoc on our environment and agricultural industries. This rising buffalo population is becoming an undeniable force that farmers simply can't ignore. In the US and around the world, these colossal creatures are placing an enormous strain on farmers. Competing with other livestock for food and grazing space, they contribute to land degradation and environmental stress. But the challenges don't end there. Their presence has resulted in a shocking increase in traffic accidents and catastrophic economic losses for farmers, all of which are becoming harder to manage as the buffalo numbers rise. American farmers are already under intense pressure to protect their crops, livestock, and livelihoods. The exploding global buffalo population is exacerbating these challenges. Not only does this surge disrupt agricultural practices, but it also accelerates biodiversity loss, putting ecosystems at risk. And as these buffalo continue to multiply, managing their impact is becoming a more complicated, if not impossible, task for farmers and rural communities alike. The situation is growing dire. The global buffalo population is swelling at a pace that could change the landscape of agriculture forever. This surge isn't just an agricultural issue, it's an environmental crisis that we can no longer afford to ignore. As these giant buffalo continue to invade farmlands and wild habitats, the strain on our food systems, ecosystems, and livelihoods will only intensify. If we don't take immediate action, the consequences will be catastrophic. This isn't just a challenge, it's a call to arms. Farmers, communities, and policymakers need to unite to tackle this growing threat before it's too late. The global buffalo crisis: why we need collective action to protect our future. The challenge posed by growing buffalo populations isn't confined to local areas, it's a global crisis demanding worldwide cooperation and urgent action. Protecting our environment and ensuring a balance between human development and the natural world isn't just a local responsibility, it's a shared obligation for all of us. To address this escalating issue, we need collaborative efforts and effective management policies that transcend borders, ensuring the sustainability of the vital resources that we all depend on. In the U.S., farmers are taking a bold step in tackling the wild buffalo invasion by adopting a buffalo hunting strategy. But this is not just another task, it's an incredibly complex and hazardous undertaking. Hunters are faced with the immense responsibility of carefully preparing for the hunt, ensuring the proper tools and strategies are in place to navigate the dangers that come with it. The process requires more than just skill, it demands precision, patience, and an unwavering commitment to safety. Once the target is identified, the clock is ticking. Every shot must be made with absolute accuracy. But hunting these massive creatures isn't about quick decisions, it's about waiting for the perfect moment, the precise shot. This is where patience and focus become paramount. It's not just about taking down a buffalo, it's about doing so effectively, safely, and with minimal disruption to the environment. Only those with professional expertise can handle this high-stakes challenge. This is no longer just an isolated problem. The rise of buffalo populations is impacting agriculture, wildlife, and human safety on a global scale. The growing threat requires us to come together, not just as farmers or environmentalists, but as a unified global community, to create sustainable solutions that will protect our resources and our future. Without coordinated action, the consequences of this buffalo invasion could overwhelm us all. It's time for a collective, global response. Buffalo hunting, the precision strategy to protect agriculture and the environment. This approach demands not only discipline and precision, but it also offers a critical opportunity to manage the buffalo population and safeguard agriculture from the growing threat of wild buffalo invasions. It's a method that's about more than just eliminating a nuisance, it's a strategic solution to a complex problem. What are your thoughts on this approach? Do you support it? Leave a thumbs up if you do, or a thumbs down if you don't. Let's hear your thoughts in the comments. Now, while rifles are commonly used, some American farmers have taken the hunt to a whole new level by using bows and arrows. This method is even more demanding, requiring exceptional skill and an acute level of precision. It all starts with the careful selection of the right bow and arrows, a task that can make or break the hunt. Hunters need to understand the buffalo's weak points, planning each move to ensure the highest chance of success. Hunting with bows and arrows isn't just a tool for controlling buffalo populations, it's a bold, exhilarating challenge that tests accuracy and mastery in the ancient art of hunting. And when it's done right, the results are nothing short of breathtaking. That moment when everything comes together, when the arrow hits its target with pinpoint accuracy, it's the culmination of hours of preparation and unparalleled focus. It's not just about managing the buffalo herds, it's about confronting an environmental challenge with determination, expertise, and the pursuit of balance in nature. This method isn't just for the thrill of the hunt, it's a vital tool for farmers trying to preserve their crops, protect their livestock, and minimize the damage caused by buffalo invasions. Beyond the blood and adrenaline, it's a strategy that requires respect for the land, the animals, and the fragile ecosystems we're trying to protect. Well done to those taking this bold step, and it's a reminder that sometimes, the old ways can offer the most effective solutions. What do you think? Let us know below. Invasive baboons in Iowa, the growing crisis and what's being done about it. Hello, friends. In recent years, Iowa has witnessed a startling increase in the number of invasive baboons. From 2021 to 2023, their population has skyrocketed from 1 million to 3 million, marking an alarming surge in their numbers. This rapid spread is causing significant concerns for local communities and wildlife alike. So, how are local authorities responding to this growing crisis? Leave a 1 in the comments if you're curious to find out, and let's dive right in. Now, let's take a closer look at where these baboons are coming from. Typically, invasive baboons originate from regions in Africa and Asia, where they are found in the wild, thriving in forests, grasslands, and savannas. However, due to population growth, habitat loss, and limited food sources, these baboons are being forced to move into new territories in search of survival. One of the most pressing causes for their migration is drought. The severe lack of water and food in their native environments is pushing them into unfamiliar areas. This influx of baboons has serious consequences for both the animals and the communities they encounter. As the baboons travel across major highways and venture into residential areas, they put themselves at risk while also threatening the safety of humans and property. The encroachment of these invasive species disrupts local ecosystems and causes damage to crops, gardens, and public spaces. The situation is dire, but authorities are not standing idly by. So, what are the measures being put in place to address this escalating problem? Stay tuned to see how local governments are working to manage the invasive baboon population and protect both the environment and the people of Iowa. The baboons of Iowa, how the invasive species are disrupting our lives. Baboons, often traveling in groups of 5 to 20, are becoming a growing concern for communities across Iowa. These invasive creatures are not only multiplying rapidly, but they're also creating chaos wherever they go. Have you had any encounters with baboons, or can you tell the difference between baboons and macaques? Share your experiences in the comments below, I'd love to hear what you think. As baboons move into urban areas, they become even more aggressive than in the wild. The starvation they experience due to the lack of food sources in their original habitats makes them more reckless and desperate for new food supplies. If you look closely at their frail appearances, you'll see that these animals have gone days without food, making them more dangerous as they seek any possible sustenance. The first signs of invasive baboons in Iowa were spotted in Davenport in 2018, and they've since spread rapidly, infiltrating neighboring areas like Des Moines. These baboons aren't just staying in the wild, they're invading homes. They climb onto roofs, break through windows, and even smash down doors to get inside houses. The damage they cause has been estimated in the millions of dollars each year, and it's clear that the situation is worsening. But it's not just the property damage that's a concern, it's also public safety. Baboons on the roads are causing serious disruptions to transportation. In 2022, an invasion of baboons on Interstate 80 caused over 20 hours of traffic delays, one of Iowa's major highways. These incidents don't just cause frustration, they also put lives at risk. More than 50 car accidents have been reported, with at least 15 people injured in collisions involving monkeys. The impact of this baboon invasion is far-reaching, touching every part of life in Iowa, from businesses to daily commutes. As these animals continue to spread, they're disrupting production, endangering lives, and costing communities millions. The situation is more than just an inconvenience, it's a growing crisis that demands immediate attention and action. Let's discuss how we can address this issue and protect our state from further harm. Baboons in cars, the terrifying reality of traffic accidents in Iowa. Traffic accidents caused by baboons are becoming an increasingly serious issue in Iowa, and a horrifying story from a local woman highlights just how dangerous this problem has become. But why are baboons invading cars? According to experts, baboons are naturally curious animals, often drawn to new objects like cars, which can quickly lead to chaos on the road. In July 2023, Sarah Jones, a resident of Des Moines, Iowa, had a terrifying encounter while driving to work. Out of nowhere, she heard a loud noise coming from the front of her car. When she looked closer, she saw a panicked baboon jumping onto the hood and scrambling into the engine compartment. Terrified and not knowing what to do, Sarah quickly swerved to the side of the road and turned off her engine, concerned for both her safety and that of the baboon. Fearing the worst, she immediately called wildlife control for help. After about 30 minutes, the agency's staff arrived to assess the situation. Fortunately, they were able to rescue the baboon safely. Experts believe the baboon may have been attracted by the smell of food inside the car and tried to find a meal. Luckily, Sarah's quick thinking and calm response prevented an accident from occurring. But this incident raises an important question: do you think Sarah's solution was both safe and effective? If you agree, leave a 2 in the comments below. We need to discuss how we can prevent these terrifying situations from happening again, before it's too late. Humane solutions to the baboons of Iowa: how sterilization is reducing the crisis. The most effective way to control the baboon invasion in Iowa is through humane measures, particularly sterilization efforts. Thanks to the dedicated work of animal protection organizations and local authorities, more than 5,000 baboons were successfully sterilized by 2022. This initiative has had a significant impact. Over the course of just 1 year, Iowa's invasive baboon population decreased by 20%, while property damage in affected cities dropped by 15%. The sterilization procedure is carried out by qualified veterinarians who follow strict humane principles. First, the baboons are brought to a designated area where they are lightly anesthetized, and their fur is carefully cleaned in preparation for surgery. The surgical procedure involves the removal of ovaries or testicles, after which the incision is carefully sutured and sterilized to ensure proper healing. After surgery, the baboons are moved to a recovery room, where veterinarians monitor their health closely. If there are no complications, the baboons are then returned to their natural reserve. This meticulous process ensures that each animal is treated with care and compassion, while also effectively reducing the population in a sustainable way. An equally important part of the process is ensuring that medical instruments are sterilized properly to maintain the safety and effectiveness of the procedure. Before any tools are used, they are thoroughly washed with soapy water to remove dirt and organic material. Then, they are soaked in disinfectants like chlorhexidine gluconate or hexose to kill harmful bacteria and viruses. Finally, the instruments are sterilized using methods such as autoclaving at 250 degrees Fahrenheit and irradiating them with ultraviolet light, effectively killing microorganisms and spores to prevent infection and cross-contamination. By employing these humane and scientifically backed sterilization methods, we are not only protecting the integrity of Iowa's ecosystem, but also ensuring the safety and well-being of both baboons and humans alike. This approach provides a long-term, effective solution to the invasive baboon issue. It's time to recognize the success of these efforts and continue working toward a balanced, humane resolution. Hunting baboons with precision: how Iowa is tackling the invasive crisis. In order to protect both the local population and the environment from the invasive baboon crisis, each baboon involved in sterilization or management efforts will be given its own medical kit. This is a crucial step to limit the risk of transmitting infectious diseases, such as HIV and hepatitis B and C, from one baboon to another, particularly as the baboon population in Iowa has reached a staggering 3 million. With such a high number, local authorities have had to take stronger action to address the growing threat. One of the methods that has proven effective is the use of bows and arrows to hunt down these aggressive animals. To support this technique, authorities have integrated advanced bow sighting tools like the Garmin Zero Bow. This device provides hunters with several valuable features to enhance their precision, including accurately measuring the distance to the target and adjusting the appropriate aiming angle. These features ensure hunters can make a precise first shot, a critical factor when dealing with such a dangerous and unpredictable species. When using bows and arrows, it's vital to follow all legal regulations and prioritize safety. Hunters need a valid license and must adhere to safety rules to ensure both their own well-being and the success of the hunt. The use of bows and arrows has proven to be effective in controlling aggressive invasive species like baboons. For example, a study in Illinois showed that bow hunting reduced the baboon population by 50% in a targeted area, significantly curbing property damage and boosting community morale. This strategy is a testament to the effectiveness of combining advanced tools with disciplined management. Do you support the response measures taken by local authorities and the community? If so, leave a 2 in the comments below. Also, feel free to share how your area is using similar methods to combat the invasive baboon problem. Together, we can continue to find effective, humane ways to protect our communities from these intelligent, invasive creatures.